Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Josh.
And I Scube from such films as Anaconda.
Cool, hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. This is our special episode, Comic Talk Responds.
Yeah, answer questions and shit, I guess.
Comments and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, we've been doing this show for a year now, and we think it's about time we go back through some of the comments and
make a thing out of it.
Make a thing of it.
Yeah.
So we picked out some of the highlights, some of the things that we can answer or just seemed appropriate to talk about, and here they are. So the first comment is from Lazy Lee Onisen, and it says two things. First of all, Wisconsin pussy flakes are better. So that's...
What's a pussy flake?
I don't know what any of those words in that order means.
Like cornflakes. Corn's from Nebraska. Cheese is from Wisconsin.
Yeah. That's even grosser.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're probably wrong, is the moral of the story.
Yeah, probably. But I think the more important part of this is this person also said, in your opinion, what is the difference between science fiction and comics? So, what's your name? Lazy Lee? This goes back to what we were talking about with comics are a medium. We've hit on this a few times. Comics are a medium, and like science fiction or superheroes or things like that, those are genres.
Yeah, and I think what they're kind of getting at is that superheroes are like science fiction-y,
right?
In a lot of ways, which they are. Like I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But again, not all comics have superheroes in them.
Right. So yeah, if we get to the meat
or science, really.
Yeah. So if we get to the meat of the question, they're really asking us what's the difference between superheroes and science fiction. Mm-hmm. First of all, you'd probably be interested in our other episodes, superhero as a genre, because we actually get into a lot of that where we do some comparisons of what superhero means.
We do that for about a half hour, like we do everything else.
But besides that, I think really it comes down to superhero versus sci-fi is that superhero is a character archetype that's placed into the story. And I think we came up to the conclusion that a superhero is somebody who intentionally tries to stand for some sort of symbolism, right?
Sure.
So that's what turns it into a superhero from just a regular sci-fi story. All right, the next comment is from Sweet Exorcist 7.
That's a sweet name.
Sweet Exorcist 7 asks, is there anything you guys do like? Damn. This was on our DC Rebirth video. Chocolate
milk.
Yeah.
Nudes. Sidekicks.
Edward Brubaker.
Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty easy to please, you know. I don't see the disconnect.
Yeah.
I think we just like things that are exemplary of the medium in which they exist, you know? Why would I read some shitty Saturday morning cartoon in paper form when I can read something like The Fade Out?
Right.
You know, coming back to Brubaker. I just don't have time or money or energy, I guess, to spend into just reading childish shit. So I think we made a very clear point to not do that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we try really hard to be mostly positive and mostly talk about things that we really love, right?
Yeah, we do that like every week.
Sometimes we get things onto our poll list that we try and we end up not liking. And sometimes we do our Talks Comics episodes where we kind of dig into things that are maybe larger issues, like the DC Rebirth thing. And that's just us talking about things that everybody else is talking about, you know. Sometimes there's things that are so big, I feel like we have to address them or else we wouldn't be a comic book show, right?
Right. And there's so much shit out there that just kisses the ass of every editorial decision, you know? If you want positive reviews about anything, just go to fucking IGN.
Right.
You know, I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, comic book resources or, there's a bunch of places that will tell you how great every single thing that comes out is. And
whatever you want to read, they love it. You know, it's great.
But we try to focus on mostly positive stuff. Go look at our trade reviews, look at our bargain bin stuff, even look at most of our poll list episodes, and it's all stuff that we rave about. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here because we love comics, not because we want to talk about how bad they are.
We're fans.
We are. We're huge fans. All right, let's move on to the next one. This was also on the DC Rebirth video. This was Justin Beckford, and here that is. He says, I like your guys' swag. I'm subscribing.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. I didn't know we had swag.
Yeah.
But
must be a new thing.
I guess we do.
Yeah.
Missed the memo. So thanks for this swag liking. We like your swag too. Did I just lose swag with that? Probably. Yeah. So this one actually comes from our DC Universe Rebirth #1 review.
Yeah,
just from like last week. Jorge Escobar or George, maybe
Georgie.
And he really likes us. He says, wow, 10 seconds into this video and I knew these guys were deficient, boring, and douchebags. Yeah, I think 10 seconds is a bit short. That's, let's roll the tape. Let's do 10 seconds. Let's see what we get. Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Josh.
And I just died in your arms tonight. Must have been something you said.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's probably fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was pretty bad. But watch more than that, maybe, because I think it got better.
Yeah,
from there.
I'd like to think so. He probably did watch more than 10 seconds. And fuck him. I don't give a shit.
He commented.
Yeah.
We know you're lying, man.
You're a liar.
You watched more than that, unless you paused it and then commented. I doubt it. Okay, so now here's one. We did the internet piracy episode. I think that was probably one of our more, before the DC Rebirth review, it was one of our more divisive episodes that we've done. And we got this really long, great response from a fella in Greece named John Maracas. And we'll put it up here. Should I try to read this or just kind of paraphrase it? I know we have podcast listeners who can't see it.
Yeah, do whatever.
All right, full disclosure here. I live in Greece where things aren't too good right now, financially, I mean. I'm 19 and a student. I have no income of my own, so I'm presented with two choices. I either pirate comics or I don't read them. He then goes on to explain how by pirating comics, he's staying abreast. He's a fan. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have spent the money otherwise.
Right, yeah. And I think he also mentioned he learned about a lot of new shit, new writers and stuff that he was very interested in.
Right.
He's like, look, when I have the money, I fully intend to support these people. I just, don't. So.
Right. And mostly I just want to say that was a great comment. I really enjoyed reading it. It was interesting to see the perspective of somebody who's maybe in a situation different than ours, who is pirating for really kind of the reasons we were talking about in a lot of ways. So thanks for that thoughtful comment. That's really cool. And, you can always go back and read that on the actual internet piracy video if you want to see everything he had to say. Very cool. Thanks. Okay, now here's one that we get all the time. This was way back on pull list number 27. It's just the most blunt one. Yeah. But this question comes up a lot, both in our comments, on Twitter, in person. But this particular one came from Olaf Lesniak. I also liked his name.
Olaf.
He says, why are you guys black and white?
Yeah, which we're clearly both white.
Yeah,
so.
What are you talking about? Plus, if you're listening on the podcast, you're like, which one of them's black? Right? It's really just, why is it? I mean, it's because it looks better with the gear we have, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fucking cheap, dude.
Yeah. We have some other reasons. We've talked about upgrading and trying to go color, and it wouldn't really cost us that much. We have a cheap camera, and this is a trick to make it look nice, really. But why, really, is the end result. We've come to like the black and white, and we feel like it
stands out against all the super color dense, loud ass bullshit that usually accompanies comics on YouTube. Right, yeah. It kind of sets us apart and makes it obvious that it's us when you see it. And it keeps the conversation at the forefront. Our intention was never for you to be wowed by what you're watching. That's why it's just a void back here, and it's just us sitting here, right? It's the void, actually.
Yeah, it's the official void of Comic Talk.
And Sidekick.
Inside the official Sidekick void. That's right. So that's why it's, there's two sides to it, and they're both kind of bullshit. So let's move on. It's going to stay black and white. I don't think we're going to change it. There's no reason to.
Nope.
All right, on our poll list number 52, our 1 year. We had this poignant question by one of my favorite commenters and somebody whose videos I try to actually watch. This is Sleepy Reader.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, 666. He always has good stuff to say. This was one of the more poignant things he had to ask. Let's put that up here. It's, what? Are you guys against masturbation?
I mean, you can do it as much as you want. Just don't do it out loud. Is, I think, the point, both, I guess, literally and metaphorically.
Right.
Because we were just talking about people, like, being super into themselves and being very blunt about it and, stroking their own ego as if, Yeah, and metaphorically, it really is a matter of
when it becomes such a public spectacle, right? Where it really does feel masturbatory on the side of the person doing it, like, but then he's making you watch, right? So,
right, yeah.
So thanks a lot. It's like the guy running into the park and pulling his jacket out.
Just in literary form.
Yeah, he's a literary flasher.
Literally a literary flasher.
So one last one, and really this one is, I'll show you the question and then I have a different answer. So let's put that up there. This is Jerason1, Jeremy Saunders. He asks, in your opinion, what comic written currently are done so in a manner similar to that of Sandman?
Oh, man, yeah. I don't fucking know.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things where it's just so heavy with Neil Gaiman's voice. Like, I think it would be a bad idea to try to approach.
Right.
I mean, the only thing that I've read that kind of reminds me of it a little bit is Slaughterhouse-5 by Vonnegut. Mm-hmm. It's not a comic. It'd be sweet-ass if they made a Slaughterhouse-5 comic.
It would be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had kind of a similar opinion on the question. I can't really... Maybe, like, Saga of the Swamp Thing actually has a similar...
But that's not out, like, now. It's not a comic.
Right, it's not modern. Yeah, but it's something else I can think of that has kind of a similar feel, and then it's very... monologue heavy and literary in nature, but
spends a lot of time with like other characters and stuff.
Right, but when you're talking about classics and then what currently coming out this month is as good as one of the greatest comics of all time, it's a tough question to answer, but we do get these questions more often than are really answerable about things like this. What else should I read other than Watchmen? Or I don't know, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, you guys can keep asking those questions, but I don't know how often. We're not endless wells of encyclopedic knowledge of comic books.
Well, I mean, I just don't think that there is anything. Is the thing. I mean, the answer really is like nobody has that voice. So you got to find a different voice that you like.
Right.
Like. Current shit, I like Jeff Lemire's voice. I like Brubaker's voice. It's like the 17th time we've mentioned him in this video. But
right.
I like Tom King's voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is, when something's like a true classic, like Sandman, part of why it's such a classic is that there's not other things like it. If there's a bunch of works that were similar to it, it wouldn't stand out the way it does. So asking what's similar to a classic is often like all you can really do is recommend other classic works or like other really top quality works, which are going to be tonally different.
What new musician sounds like Beethoven?
Right. Right. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Morrison is still around. I'd probably place him most analogous, I would say, to that sort of thing.
Yeah, possibly so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's just, point being is you can't, like when it's something that good, something that classic and that well renowned, there's not going to be other things like it really. Starman's another possibility, I suppose, or Miracle Man as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for our first round of comments. I hope you like our answers. Keep asking questions and commenting, and we'll do another one of these when we get another chunk of them that we feel like need addressed on a video/podcast.
So comment a bunch, and we'll do a bunch.
Yep. And also remember, we now have our show available in podcast form. Links are down below. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or SoundCloud.
Later.
See you.